breaking news story in the last hour or so coming out of Italy, and that is that Manchester United have made an approach for Inzaghi to become the new permanent manager of Manchester United, but the reports suggest that the offer has been or will be rejected. Henry, what's your take on that, mate?
Well, he's one of the best managers in Italy right now. He's got Inter Milan, winning Scudettos. They're doing well in the Champions League. Is he the right man for Man United right now? In my opinion, probably not. And I think he'd be mad to take the Man United job right now. That's probably the biggest job in terms of transition right now in world football. I don't think Inzaghi is the right guy, but then who is the right guy? Man United right now are just an absolute mess from top to bottom. They need completely restructure, a new scouting. They spent a hell of a lot of money. So Inzaghi will probably look at that. He's probably going to get a huge pay rise if he were to go there. And to be, I guess, from a manager's perspective, knowing that you could turn a club around like Man United would be fantastic for your CV and resume. But I don't think he's the right man right now. Maybe 3-4 years down the line, when they're in a position to win a league title, bring Inzaghi in because he's got a great track record of doing that. Did really well at Lazio. Obviously got to a Champions League final a couple of years ago. Narrowly lost to City. But yeah, as of right now, I don't think he's the right guy for me.
Yeah, man, I agree with you. To be fair, I see people in the comments saying, "Why would he leave?" There's something called money. Yeah, people forget that in football there's this big thing called money, and people also forget that people want to make Manchester United like great again. There's that whole thing. Like it's the same with Arsenal. It's like people wanted to come Arsenal because imagine being the first guy to win the league again with Arsenal, or first to win the Champions League with Arsenal. Same with Man United. Imagine being the guy that brings Man United back to the promised land. I don't think Inzaghi's the right guy. I just think he'll be another one that will be a temporary fix, and then it will kind of all go tits up because the same stuff will rear its face. But you never know. It's not a bad shout. Like I'll be honest, it's better than going to get someone crap. But I just think Man United should be going for someone in the Premier League already, man. I think someone who's at a lower Premier League team.
Thomas Frank.
Thomas Frank. I'm someone who still sits and says they should go and get a Graham Potter. Like I know Graham Potter has a lot of stick now. Like people still hate on him because of that Chelsea thing, but he went to Chelsea and it was at the start of the new stuff, and they were buying all the players for him.
It's career suicide. Already lost that Chelsea job. If he does bad at Man United, no one's going to touch him with a barge pole.
Who touches him now?
Well, he's been. wasn't he offered? What job was he offered in the summer that he rejected?
Potter turned down Ajax. He turned down Ajax.
Yeah, I mean that's a good job. Whereas,
I think he's waiting for the possibility of the England job as well. To be fair, because if Lee Carsley started well, but there's a big possibility that he, ends up there. Ince, from your point of view, I know obviously you probably consume Premier League football as well as the French league and other places. How do you see it from sort of as a non-rival of Manchester United in many ways? Is Inzaghi or Thomas Tuchel the right approach, or should we be setting our sights a little bit lower for the beginning of this rebuild? How do you personally see it, mate?
What do you mean set your sights lower? For like a lower class manager, a lower quality manager?
Yes, and let me preface that with I want a world-class manager to manage Manchester United, but I'm not sure if we are in a position right now in terms of structure, culture, squad quality to even attract it. Inzaghi, if this report from Italy is true that he's turned us down, is a case in point. And maybe we have to settle for somebody who is of a good quality, like managed in the Premier League or managed in the Liga. So they're in that category of top managers. They're not managing in the League One in England or in the Conference League or something. But maybe we need someone who is going to help us rebuild this squad, become tough to beat, create a bit of an identity before some of the world-class managers want us. Or do you think Man United should just break the bank and go and get one of the best managers in the world? How do you personally see it?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen throughout this, United downfall era, they've still managed to pick up great managers such as Mourinho and so on, and they've still managed to pick up great players. So I think United should continue doing that. I think when you start lowering the standard of the manager, you have already started lowering the expectations for the upcoming seasons. I know you want to do the trust the process, and we saw Arteta be absolutely nothing and take this Arsenal job and everything. But no, I think United, if Inzaghi, they feel he's the best quality manager, they should get him. It's that simple. I think what United should do is just continue what they're doing, throwing, I don't know, stuff at the wall until one of them sticks. And I think Inzaghi much better than Ten Hag.
I agree. I agree. Ten Hag. I agree. Inzaghi is better than Ten Hag. I do, and I also understand your train of thought around, trying to get the best manager possible. And I don't think it's a case of don't try to get the top managers. I think it's more along the lines of, I think Man United fans have got to open up their eyes that we may not get one. There is a possibility, and you're talking attainable managers, because we're not getting Luis Enrique from PSG. He's not leaving what you guys are doing for us right now. We're not getting Pep or Klopp. We're not getting Ancelotti. Looks like we can't take Inzaghi away. Once you start going away from those giant clubs of good managers, I do sort of think we've got a chance with everybody else. We probably can't get Arteta. Not all United fans would want him, but he's probably someone that Arsenal would sort of say no, and he'd say no to us. We should aim for the best, but I think there's also having that understanding that after 11 years in the doldrums, after having got this Frankenstein squad that's going to take 2 or 3 years to fix, I'm just in a position where I want the best possible, but I'm in a realization of we may not end up with that because we are so broken. Ram, is that me having too lower standards, or is that am I being realistic? I don't know. I feel both. I feel really conflicted personally.
I hear what people are saying. Always need to bring a world-class manager, especially when you're trying to do a rebuild like what United is trying to do. But I think I can't think of any manager that has a track record where you can guarantee they're going to be a success, or they've built a club up from the ground up, or even helped a club reach the top level again. I think it's really hard to find one. I think this is probably the best opportunity for United just to have a proper reset. And what I mean is maybe going down the route of Arsenal, which is like lower your expectations a little bit and put less pressure on the club and yourselves, and slowly do what Arsenal did, which was do your thing. Slowly get Champions League, slowly improve from there, challenge for a league title, and then obviously the next step is winning the league. So I think at this point, you guys, I think a lot of fans have need to come to the acceptance that it's a massive bucket of work that you guys need to do. And the only way I think is possible is lowering your standards and getting a lesser known manager who can become a world-class manager, because all the other managers that can build clubs are just not available.
What about Alonso?
He's not going to go anytime soon. I think he's already sold with the Bayer Leverkusen thing.
I personally think Bayern will win the league this year. I know they had a wobble against Villa. Fair play. Villa were absolutely phenomenal. Martinez makes 2 or 3 incredible saves. But I think this year, Bayern win the league title. And I think Man United will be thinking, if Arsenal have done a quote-unquote process and they've challenged Man City, who is another like-for-like manager who's got over the line and won a league and a cup. And Alonso would be, I know he's got the Liverpool connection and he'd probably be looking at Madrid because Ancelotti, his career is up in huge question marks at the moment after his first loss in 258 days or whatever it is. I think Alonso right now, that Man United job would be, it'd be seriously looking at that. And they've got, knowing that Alonso's full charge of the rebuild.
Ram, I'll come to you in a second. On Alonso's, again, if we're looking at realistic targets, I think he is someone that is potentially attainable. I think that Man United, if we offer him the right package and the right money, I think we could turn his head. There's a few reasons I want him. One, he strikes me as the kind of manager that knows how to implement the style, but will also adapt when he's up against a team that's superior to him in a certain way. And Man United's squad needs that. I get what you're saying around about lowering standards, and I think this whole standard conversation becomes really imbalanced. I'm never going to lower my standards for Man United, ever. However, that doesn't mean I expect the new manager to take over this team and be as good as Pep's Man United next year. Doesn't matter how much I demand that. Every Man United fan could pull their money, protest, burn the training ground down. I don't think if Pep took over this Man United squad, he could make them as good as City are right now within a season. So there isn't about lowering standards. It's about understanding where you are in this world. You know, it doesn't matter how many standards, I don't know, KJ has. He's never going to get any taller. Like, there's some things that are just like set in stone, right?
That is so weird.
But it's the truth, right? And I think that's where Man United fans have got to be balanced in this. I like Alonso. So I don't mind a Thomas Frank. I don't mind a Thomas Tuchel. Alonso would excite me. But at the same time, Man United fans don't expect him to come in and do an invincible season straight away. And I think we still have too many fans at Man United who believe, get rid of this manager, bring in someone better, this squad will cook. No, this squad could make top 4. This squad could win trophies right now. And we know that's possible because it's already won trophies. What I don't think it is capable of doing is being consistent enough to win a league. That's going to come after 2 or 3 more transfer windows. But the other reason I want Alonso is 3 reasons. 1, I think he's a very good manager. 2, he's ex-Liverpool and it would hurt them. 3, the last time we took an ex-Liverpool legend player, he became one of the greatest and most influential managers in European football history, and that is Sir Matt Busby. So I mean, who?
I thought you were going to say personnel. I thought you were going to go on.
No. So Matt Busby was a big Liverpool player.
Yeah,
and
he was a player, yeah.
I do believe in sport, like in life, history repeats itself. So part of me, it's pure hopium when I say that. It's just imagine that you take a Liverpool legend and he gets us back on tracks and wins us major trophies. It would be sweet, but it'll be a hard one. But I think the Alonso type is what we should be aiming for. I don't think we're going to get an Inzaghi. We're definitely not going to get a Klopp or an Ancelotti. I think someone that's up and coming. But we have to bring someone in who plays good football. Because I was watching Bologna play this week. I was watching Ghent versus Chelsea. They all play football that is not just marginally, I would say it's so superior to how we kick a ball. In fact, Ipswich play better football than we fucking do. It's ridiculous when you actually deep it. Ipswich Town play better football than Man United. In terms of the game this weekend, gents, sorry, I'm going to trim this first on this. How do you see the game going? Manchester United versus Aston Villa.
Right now, United is about as useful as a chair with no legs. So I have to put most of my hope into Aston Villa.
Have you ever been to Japan? That's what they have over there. They're really good in Japan. There's loads of chairs with no legs.
The things where you kneel and that. You know about them ones?
Yeah, no, you got these little chairs that sit on the floor. And then they've got little backrest. But anyway, sorry, I interject. Sorry. Over to you.
No, it's cool. It's cool. For me, yeah, I think Villa are going to be very optimistic and confident, especially with that Bayern win. However, I was a bit impressed by the way United were even able to get a couple of goals against Porto, even when they weren't playing well. Obviously, we know what football is going to be like, and we don't know what United's going to turn up. So people are very confident in Villa, but Villa can also turn up and not be consistent. So we can't just assume Villa are going to smoke them. Personally, for me, I know we've been speaking about the managers as well. Obviously, if not Ten Hag, I feel like there's a lot of big names out there, but realistically, you need a manager that wants to actually dedicate his time to turning the club around, that actually wants to connect with the fans, that actually wants to be a part of the community. You know, like a manager who sees himself and says, this isn't a quick fix. And I feel like some of the big names we're hearing, they're more like a year or 2 years. I feel like if you want to do the project thing, I'm saying you need someone who's going to be like, yo, I will give my life to the club. I will get involved in every way, every aspect. But yeah, sorry, back to the